Welcome to Hopeland. In this episode, Neil and Chris talk about health and wellness, and come to the conclusion that you should eat apples, drink water, watch Netflix at the gym, and share inappropriate memes. If you've got nothing better to do for the next hour, enjoy listening to these two droning on. Engaging microphones and powering on presenters.
Ooh, there's Abby.
I do like a bit of Abby.
Yeah, I like Abby as well.
She we talked about this last week. She would definitely go rogue if we gave her half a chance. She would be out there fiddling.
What would you like to do, Abby? I would like for nuclear destruction and world domination.
I don't know whether she'd be nuclear. I think she'd be out there mucking about with traffic lights.
The subtle stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think she'd just be in it a bit. It would be, the movie would just kind of progress at a steady pace, right? And it'd start and there'd be like just a family in a car and it'd be like cool. And then the traffic lights would just be a little bit weird. and then she might do, what else might she do? She might, I don't know, she might like mess with some TV programming or something.
Yeah.
Just like fairly subtle stuff.
Yeah.
She might...
The odd subliminal word just dropped in on a broadcast.
Yeah, or she might like just change the radio station on your car. Or
Yeah.
Just there,
Yeah.
She might do something.
Or create the kind of conspiracy theories that we'll talk about the other week.
She might
Birds
change
aren't real.
She might change your phone background to Donald Trump. I think she'd be that guy. I think she'd be quite mischievous.
Just naughty Abby.
I read something this week which amused me, and it was somebody talking about smart toothbrushes.
Yeah,
being used as like a technology attack. So somebody would find a bug in your smart toothbrush, take over all the smart toothbrushes, and then the smart toothbrushes would then, and they mean this in an IT way, right? So they mean like the ITs. In my tiny brain, and bear in mind I work in IT, when I'm reading this, I'm envisaging these toothbrushes just jumping up and down and attacking people.
Going in people's brain, going up their noses,
so
taking their brains out.
I'm imagining so it'd be like Putin, because obviously it's always Putin, right? Putin gets his team and they could take over all the toothbrushes. And what it actually meant was that they would use the computers in the toothbrushes to go and perform attacks on websites and things.
Oh, that's not as fun, is it?
In my brain, the toothbrushes are now hopping about all over your house, attacking your cats and bothering things. That's much better.
Yeah, I think so.
Much funnier.
Putting like whitening toothpaste on the telly.
Yeah, just they all make that noise, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's do you know, one of the saddest things for me was I once went to America ages and ages ago with my charger, and it wouldn't charge my toothbrush.
Oh, there we go.
And I had to use my electric toothbrush manually, and I felt like such a failure. You know, when you feel like you failed at life. I was sad, I was jet lagged, and I was just manually gyrating my electric toothbrush in my mouth.
Oh God!
Sad times. You're visualising that as well, like you kind of think
the sadness and disappointment in your face.
It is.
While you're trying to brush your teeth.
It's just.
What am I? What even am I?
Just how to do this. Starting to question my life choices. How did I get here?
Right. This is Hopeland. That was Abby.
Oh, God,
You are Neil. I'm Chris.
Yep.
The podcast is about, I don't know what it is, nihilistic comedic hope.
Somebody asked me what that was.
Yeah.
And because I've been away with work a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and somebody listened to it. Well, no, that's not true.
That's good. Explaining it. 4 minutes in, that's good going.
Somebody asked me about it, and they said, "Oh, are you still doing your podcast?" I said, "Well, we've kind of changed it a little bit. We're now called Hopeland. It's kind of like optimistic nihilism."
Yeah.
And the look in his face was just like, "That's contradictory. What on earth does that mean?"
Yeah.
And I thought for a little bit, and then but it's probably like later that day I came back and I've thought of it now.
Yeah.
So the optimistic nihilism is like Putin's just launched a nuclear strike, and we've all been told, like Abby's told us, that we're all going to die.
Yeah.
But you've just remembered you've got a massive cake in the fridge. That's Hopeland.
It's the last scene in that Don't Look Up film, isn't it?
Yeah.
And everyone's having their dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah,
it's very much kind of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh well, I don't have to be healthy anymore.
Yeah,
I can just, I'll eat the entire cake. Doesn't matter anymore, does it?
Nope, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Talking
Nothing
about,
matters.
Yeah, talking about being healthy. That's what we thought.
Oh, that's a lovely segue.
We thought we'd do it on,
and that's like proper. That's like segue on you segue. That is.
It is, isn't it? Like segue squared. We thought we'd talk this week about kind of health and wellness and all of that kind of stuff because we think it's quite funny.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
think
it
it's
sound
really
solemn
funny.
when you say it? We're going to talk about wellness, and
Health and wellness.
health and wellness, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh god, I can picture what that is. That's like a works meeting. That's like, oh god,
PowerPoint.
yeah,
Just PowerPoint.
that's definitely going to be a PowerPoint about that.
Slide 1 of 75.
Yeah, don't know whether it's transmuting. Is that the right?
I don't know.
Transmit it.
Oh, there's a motorbike. There's a
It's
buzzy
a
motorbike.
lawnmower. It's not even a motorbike. It's a lawnmower with a frame. That's what that
It
is.
is, yeah. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Well, so we thought we'd do it on like health and wellness because I think we've both been sucked into that kind of health and wellness stuff over the years and gyms and things. And I've had some of the funniest moments in my life in gyms and stuff where people, I've gone to the gym and I'm not a gym. I mean, mathematics and gym membership don't go together usually. I kind of go to the gym because I know I need to.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it at all. It's not. I really dislike being in the gym, but I dislike being in the gym because those people in there they're not my people.
Okay, so
Do you know
all
what I mean?
right. So the gym isn't the problem.
No,
it's the tribe.
I kind of walk in the door and it's just full of people that look at me like, ugh. Do you know what I mean? You feel like
you
do
not belong here.
Yeah, you feel totally judged as soon as and they're probably not. They're busy. They're worried about their own. Like,
oh yeah, is that a self-judgment because it's that projection?
I think it is. I think they're worried about where they're going to get their steroids from. Obviously. But I kind of think, it probably is on me a little bit. But then you do. What I found I quite liked in the gym was like having a training session. So you would have like these training sessions, and they would say things like, hold your core.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And then I had one trainer who said to me, like, he said, pretend you're stopping going for a wee.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So whenever anyone says to me, do you core? I'm like, I'm going to try and not have a wee.
No wheeze.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't need a wee.
Yeah.
But I just, everything I found in the gym just really difficult. And just they say, do this or do that. And it's all just really hard. And it never gets any easier. They say, it'll get easier.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It just hurts the next day. So now I'm like still as unhealthy as I was. I've got less money. Somebody's told me to stop weeing. And now I can't get out of my chair because my legs hurt.
See, I haven't been to the, I have phases where I'll like.
Oh, you're a weight person,
living in the gym, doing the weights, grunting a bit, and then and then enjoying that but then have nothing. Not like I'll go every once in a week.
Right,
it's like either I go every day,
or nothing, or
I'm not going at all, and I have a quiet period of time where I've not done anything.
You're swimming at the minute, aren't you?
You say this. I like to sit in the jacuzzi bit where it's nice.
Have you weed in it?
I've not weed in it. I was thinking about that last night. I was like, I wonder if people do wee in this.
I wonder if I could wee in it.
Yeah. I don't want to wee in it though.
No,
I do. But I do. I have a swim. I'm not doing swimming. If that does that make sense?
My friend used to swim. We were at AstraZeneca. I was consulting there, and she was a member of staff. And
that's a nice link to later as well.
Yeah, she used to swim, but she used to do 60 lengths.
Right. Yeah, you see, I do 15 minutes and then get bored and then look at the clock and go, yeah, that'll probably be all right.
That'll probably do.
Yeah.
Better than not doing any lengths, though.
Yeah.
Like the minute for me, I like cycling, and I've not done much over the winter because it's.
We did that together, didn't we?
We did, yeah. It's too cold and wet, and I don't like. I've come like I'm 50 this year, and I've come to the conclusion I don't like outdoors very much. Well, that's not true. I don't like cold and wet outdoors.
Yeah.
I like sitting outside in like warm weather, dry weather. I like that. I don't want to go and get wet anymore.
So I like motorbikes.
Yeah.
I like being out on the motorbike.
Yeah.
And I've done the thing where I've kept saying to Gemma,
like,
I'm ready to get the motorbike out because I'm not a ride in the cold and wet man.
Because it's dry.
I do like dry roads, nice weather, above 10 degrees, whatever. And it's getting there now. And I keep like looking at the garage every time I go out going, it's nearly time.
Do you go and wipe your seat?
Yeah. And like start it up and just, do that, listen to it.
Annoy your neighbours a bit.
Yeah. But also Gemma just says, just go out on it. And I'm like, no.
Too scared.
No, not
what
yet.
If I, what
Not
if I
yet.
fall
What
off?
if? But just, I don't know. There's something very ritualistic about, like, I don't know. There'll be a day, and then I'll know when that day is when I go out.
It'll
on it.
feel right.
Yeah,
I think, yeah. So,
like going to the gym.
yeah, I'm the same actually. Well, I've got a gym fairly close to me, and I'm at that point now where I've done so little. I'm starting to like my watch. I'm not a big fan of smartwatches, but I have a smartwatch at the minute. And I'm sure, I don't know whether I talked about this before, but it tells me whenever I go for a walk, it tells me my VO2 health is low.
What's VO2?
So that's my oxygen. That's basically fitness. It's cardiovascular fitness.
How does it know that?
Because it reads my blood oxygen.
How does it do that even?
I just got
that's inside.
Yeah, it's got a little sensor.
That's an inside though.
No, it's got a little sensor on the thing, and it's dead good. Do you know what I did about it?
Took your watch off.
I turned it off. But I am feeling like I need to go and do a thing. So I do need to do that, and keeping up with the kids and stuff like that. I kind of do need to go and do something. So I'll probably go on my bike a little bit, I think, and just do something. But for me, exercise is kind of I don't really. I don't know, like Lizzie likes going and doing the park runs and stuff.
Yeah.
She's loving it. She's absolutely loving it. She's really embraced running and stuff. But I can't think of anything worse than being with that many people.
Yeah, no, it's just bad. Yeah.
I don't need that. So for me, it's like a 1 or 2 person activity. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be doing that with a lot of people.
Yeah. See, my thing is that it either consumes my entire life or I don't do it. So like if I choose to do it, I'm doing the gym, I'm doing the running, I'm doing the swimming, I'm doing the fasting, I'm doing all of it, and that's it. And there's nothing else, or I do absolutely nothing.
We should talk about fasting because fasting is. I like fasting. But I've always done it. I've always fasted, even before I kind of knew it had a name. Right, I've probably always had a name, but before I knew it had a name.
Was that just because you couldn't be bothered to make anything to eat though?
No, it's just I kind of enjoy the feeling.
I see.
Like, for me, it's a mental thing. My brain quietens down hugely, like a day into a fast. Like I would fast for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And
oh wow.
Like one day into that fast, my brain would just really quieten down, and I've always liked it, even from I don't know 12, 13, something like that.
When you say fast, do you mean like not eating
just water? Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, no, just water. And that's
really?
that I've always enjoyed. I mean, I can't do it for very long, and it requires getting over that first 24 hours is really hard.
Yeah.
Because all my brain wants to do is eat cake. So it's like, go and have cake, have some more cake. Go on, you have a little bit. You're fasting now, so why don't you have a bit of cake and then fast? Right? So it's that kind of monkey brain stuff, right? But once you can get over that, I always really enjoyed it. But I watched, this is probably going back about 5 or 6 years now, I watched a YouTube video by a guy called Jason Fung, Dr. Fung.
Right.
Who is a liver doctor. And it was really fascinating. He was talking about diabetes and he was talking about insulin. And this video wasn't like, at the time, it wasn't like super well known. I think it's pretty popular now, but at the time it wasn't super well known.
So you thought before it was cool?
Before it was cool, yeah. It was the way it was pitched was kind of almost like, and my YouTube is full of like, the minute it's full of like Roger Penrose and physics and maths and stuff.
Oh, I need to watch that you sent me.
But there's a few things, so it's normally full of that kind of chemistry and biology and stuff. So I think that's kind of what, it was about the liver, right? And at the time I was, my gallbladder was, going to be removed, so I was doing searches and things, but found this thing, and it was this guy, and he runs like a diabetes clinic, and he said this. We started to look at the data of all the drugs and things we were giving them, and it just didn't work very well. Like these diabetes drugs, you would kind of be on them for forever, and they weren't that effective, really. And he said, but one of the things we noticed was if patients fasted, they could actually for type 2 diabetes they could almost recover like really, really quickly.
Wow, that's incredible.
And it was because of the way the body kind of regulates insulin and all this other kind of stuff. But it was fascinating. I just kind of listen to that, and then you kind of do a bit of research about it and find there's loads of papers, loads of stuff that says it's true.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, that's quite interesting. And then this kind of penny dropped, right? About why is no one? If diabetes is the biggest thing ever and everyone's going to die of diabetes, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah.
And it's that no one's making any money from it.
No, really.
Right? So,
okay.
that's what the conclusion I kind of came to was that, like, if you just don't eat anything for 3 days, Who's making money from that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So who in their right mind would do it? Whereas if I can sell you a drug, or I can sell you a pill,
diet thing,
or a diet, or something, then I can make some money from that.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. I think, and I got that really gave me this kind of I don't know, like really negative perspective about the health industry in general. So whenever I see like a tablet or a pill or a thing or something that's supposed to do or
it's
change
just all
something,
snake oil in there.
I just immediately just think, oh well, yeah. Just trying to rob people of their money. And it's like Weight Watchers and all of that stuff. I read a brilliant story about Weight Watchers this week. Do you want to hear it?
Go for it.
It's going to make me laugh when I say it. There was a girl and a friend who went to Weight Watchers.
Oh, this is going to be good.
When they went to the first weigh-in, and they told her that gravy was free, like there was no points in gravy. And so she started making pints of it, and she was drinking gravy rather than eating. And then she weighed in, and she'd put on like half a stone. And then apparently just kind of stormed off. And I don't know. For me, that's it, isn't it? It's that kind of. Do you know what I mean? Tell me. I don't want to think for myself. Tell me what to do. Isn't that brilliant? Just drink gravy.
She's got a gravy again.
That's how to do it.
Oh man!
So if you're out there and you need to lose weight, just drink gravy. I'm pretty sure that's what the story's trying to tell us.
We do as we're told, don't we? Or what we. I don't know. It's like there's a bit of group thing going on, isn't
Biases.
there?
So if you want to lose weight and you think that eating carrots is going to make you lose weight, and you see a diet that says eating carrots will make you lose weight, you're far more likely to go and jump on there. Do you know what I mean? It's how you're biased and how you've been brought up. And I remember when I was a kid, all my mum's mates, it was always about cabbage.
Right. Okay.
Cabbage diet. So you just had cabbage soup. That's what you had. Cabbage soup for breakfast. Cabbage soup here. Do you remember? You might be a little bit young for this, but do you remember Kellogg's when they said if you can pinch more than an inch of your belly fat?
I don't remember this at all.
So there was an ad campaign from Kellogg's that said if you can pinch more than an inch of your belly fat, then you're fat and you should reduce weight. And you could do that by just eating Kellogg's cereal. So you don't have any dinner. You just have Kellogg's cereals for breakfast. You have Kellogg's cereals for lunch.
So the Slim Fast plan, but with Kellogg's. Yeah.
But there's loads of that stuff, and I think I don't know. It's that desperation that we kind of want a magic.
I would. I'd just eat cereal. I would do that.
I like dry.
I'd be like Rice Krispies,
dry cereal,
Weetabix, and then what else would I have? Shreddies.
I'm terrible for eating the kids' dry cereal.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I just go and pitch it, and then they're like, "There's no cereal." Like,
I went a bit posh. I went muesli for a bit as well. I quite like muesli.
Oh, muesli. Yeah. There's a funny thing. I read a thing about muesli saying that the expensive muesli is always worse. So it's always got more sugar and fat in it than the cheap muesli.
Right. Okay.
Because it's got more fruit and stuff in it.
And it's the fruit that we're really fed a fruit lie, aren't we?
I like fruit, but
I like fruit. Yeah.
I love a grape.
Yeah.
An apple.
Yeah.
What's your favourite apple?
Jazz apples. That is a thing.
You just made that up. I like the Granny Smith because it looks like
classic.
It looks like an apple. It's green and it just looks like an apple.
Yeah.
It looks like how an apple should be.
Yes,
I like that. It's like sports cars. You draw a Ferrari F40 because that's what a sports car's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And an apple's supposed to look like a Granny Smith. What does a jazz apple look like?
Not like a Granny Smith.
Has it got a trombone?
Yeah, it slaps the bass. That's what it does.
Slaps the bass, funky bass line. No, I do love that. I do like fruit, but it's just sugar in it. I mean, it's just sugar. But I just think, I don't know. I think we're told everything either makes you fat or gives you cancer.
Yeah.
Or makes you constipated or gives you diarrhea.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything. Or it's got fluoride in it, or it's water. The water's got chemicals in it.
How look, that thing you've just hinted at as to the Kellogg's thing and the marketing.
Yeah.
How much of this stuff is because there's the whole milk thing, wasn't there? This idea of milk giving you calcium.
Yeah.
And actually, it was about kickstarting the economy post-war.
And there was some truth to it in the fact that it was it's got fat, it's got protein, it's got sugars in there. Most importantly, we didn't have to ship it anywhere. So we could make it in the UK and get it out to people. So the idea was that it would like sustain the population.
But it's very not good for you.
I don't know. I just don't think we knew. If you think about it, there's no evidence to show it was good for you or bad for you. I just think that it was like much of the medical information and health information, it came from like bad studies from the 50s, and then people interpolated the data from it. So for example, the low fat diet, there's no evidence to show that low fat diets work. The data came from some data in the 50s that wasn't meant for that purpose, and it was just interpolated. So that's kind of what I think what Weight Watchers is based on, and a bunch of other stuff is based on.
And it's all the that's the thing, isn't it? Every choice, this is like a bit of a epiphany for me. Every choice that we make around what we consume, like as in food wise and drink wise, is pretty much marketing and labeling, isn't it?
I think so. I think a lot of it is. The evidence for diet and stuff is really interesting, and if you dig into it, I'm not an expert in this by any means, but if you dig into it, the vast majority of people just say you kind of probably eat a bit less, probably eat more stuff, eat more variety of stuff, right? So, just eating Kellogg's cereals is probably not a brilliant idea, but having a mixture of fruit and vegetables and stuff.
And a Granny Smith.
Jazz, have a Jazz and have a Jazz and a Granny Smith, and you are golden. But that's what most of the data suggests, right? It's just that most health issues are caused by eating too much. And it doesn't really matter what that too much is. You could eat too much of the best food ever. If you eat too much, then that's
crisps.
Not good.
I do like crisps.
I love crisps as well. Everyone loves crisps. And then and it's just eating a variety of stuff, isn't it? And not sitting. I mean, I sit down all day, but it's not sitting down all day. So like stand up. We had, it was one of our neighbours, Leanne. She was she's probably one of the best fitness coaches I've ever had, and she was awesome. Took no nonsense, really. She saw through me in a heartbeat. She made me do bicep curls once, and she was just like, "Oh, shall we just use the bar?" No, and I genuinely, I was like, "But the bar's still too heavy. Could we not just not do it at all?"
Can we just not do it?
Can I watch someone else do it? It's interesting. I was saying to her, like, one of the issues I run into with exercise is it's either an exercise that I like I like swimming and I like cycling, but even those, I still need quite a lot of, I need to either be in a rhythm of doing it. So it's that kind of just that repetition of doing it every day at the same time. Or I kind of won't do it. And it was interesting. She said, look, the thing that kills you is sitting down. So she said, if you're struggling for enthusiasm, just stand up. Just if you can, just stand up and move around and walk around. So it's just being on if you're on your feet rather than on your ass. That's good for me because
I'm a pacer.
On meetings I'm the same.
I'm an absolute pacer. Like I remember one time where the kids and Gemma, they were sat watching the telly or whatever, and I'm on the phone, and I'm literally striding around the house, but communicating, conversing, and planning and scheming and all the things that I like to do, but I can't sit down and do that.
I do it when I talk. Weirdly, we went to a team offsite 2 weeks ago, and I didn't have to do anything, which is like probably the first time in 20 years. It was really quite cool watching the other people do it. But this week, I've been in London a couple of times, and I've had to go and do public speaking again. Right, I had to go and do some talks about stuff. And I'm a pacer the same. I can't. They teach you when we had our training. They were like, no, you stand still. Don't fumble with things. Get eye contact with people. Do all of that stuff. And I can't do it. I find it really, really difficult. And it was only fairly recently that somebody went through similar training again, and they said, actually, now they kind of tell you to do whatever's comfortable, right? Whatever you feel comfortable with is probably going to make other people feel comfortable too. So that's the way to do it. But they told him that the reason that people will walk and pace is because your heart hasn't got enough strength to keep blood flow around your body So you need your legs and the leg muscles, that kind of action of walking kind of presses and gives you the blood pressure. And so when you're walking around, it gets more blood flow up to the brain. So the brain gets more oxygen and it starts to be a little bit happier and starts to have, starts to think about weird stuff.
All you have to do is move. I mean, that's something that I remember because I did the during lockdown, and I think we'll probably come on to lockdown in a big way probably in a minute. But I after I hit the deck and was just like completely lost for a few weeks, which I think everyone did.
Just watch Netflix. All of Netflix.
I actually got really into calisthenics.
Oh, I remember you doing that.
Yeah, and it's actually, I mean, I didn't weigh myself or anything like that, but I was physically in the best shape of my life that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And there was, running that we did. There was the calisthenics. There was some mindfulness, although I get really distracted. I'm not very good at it. And meditations and stuff, but loads of different things like that to get into, and that was the only rule. The only rule was move every day, and it might be taking the dog for a walk. It might be.
Yeah, I remember you doing that because you got into that habit of podcasts. You were listening to podcasts and walking.
That's right. Yeah.
It's it's something that I aspire to do.
That's interesting what you said about the blood pressure, because I did suffer from quite high blood pressure. I don't know if I still do because I just stopped testing myself. But
that's the way to fix any kind of ailment. Just get rid of the thing that told you you're not very well.
But the thing was it called sedentary? Yeah. So it was just I had a period of life where I didn't do nothing.
I'm in that at the minute. The problem I have is, and this is kind of, I guess, like very data driven, right? Is that if I test my blood pressure, it's 120/80.
Wow, really?
Yeah, but my cholesterol's 3.
You don't care about anything, do you?
I don't. Honestly, so when you go in there, all they ever tell me is you're a little bit overweight, so you probably should eat less cake. But do you know what I mean? I need what I would. I kind of need, because I kind of think, well, I'm obviously all right then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm fine. Yeah. But what I need is I think a wake up call where I get the doctor going, oh, this is you've got 3 days to live. You've got to go. You need to go and walk around the block.
Yeah.
So because it's weird, and I kind of know I need to do it. As much as I make fun of exercise and the gym and all that, I kind of know I need to do it, right?
Yeah,
I'm not an idiot. I know I need to stand up, and I know I need to do more, and I just don't like it. And so,
but that's the thing, is that once it becomes your normal, and it's actually part of and I don't like the idea of it being part of like your life, but I think certainly when you identify as that's the thing that you do, then it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do it.
I love walking. I love it. It's why I really kind of enjoyed photography initially. I think I just love getting out and walking around. But like that in that wind, I don't know. And I loved getting over into Wales and going up the mountains and stuff. But it's got quite busy over there.
Yeah.
And like in the areas that we walk locally, again, that's quite busy. And I have to take the kids now.
Yes.
And if there's anything that can sap energy, it's taking a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old anywhere that's not a computer. I hate this. Do I have to do it? We did the park walk. It's 5 kilometers?
Right.
It's like 5 seconds into it. How long's it been? How many meters have we walked now? Can I have a cake? Do you know what I mean? And I say to them, look, the quicker we go, the quicker you go, the quicker we'll go. And then they run. And I'm like, I can't run. I don't want to do that. So it's just a little bit frustrating.
Because you did that as well for a bit, didn't you? Running. That was the thing you did for a bit.
Yeah, I do. I hated running, but what I liked about running was being able to listen to metal. I used to go and put heavy metal on my headphones, and I loved it. So I could have it on too loud. I would spend the day, I was going to go running, and it would be the music I was excited about.
Wow, that's interesting as well.
So it would just be, hey, I'm
going to go listen to that new record. And the training is the thing you do while you listen to the record. That's a really good way of tricking yourself.
That's kind of how I would do it. When I was at the gym, one of the things that Leanne said to me as well was, I used to go and watch TV series there. So what I would do is I would go and cycle or walk or run a little bit, or the cross trainer or something, and just do that. And it was, I'm totally aware that's not the best way to exercise, but it's a whole lot better than sitting on my ass.
I might do that because I get locked into TV shows.
Yeah, it disappears. I would find it would just disappear, and it would be, that's it. I'd have done my hour, and I'd be back again. So.
Oh, that's great. So actually, the truth, so if you're someone who struggles to motivate yourself to do that, just do it while you're doing something else, and actually,
I think so.
It's like passive training, isn't it? Almost.
Or just don't do it. One of those two things.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was talking to my friend from Sweden. I've got quite a few friends from Sweden, and I love you all to pieces, but they're so dark. And I was chatting to my friend from Sweden. I was saying we were going to do the show on this, and he said, "Oh, okay, right." And I said, I'm not sure how. I'm generally not sure where I'm going to go when we start to talk about it, right? Because on one hand, I kind of think, it'd be great to be healthy. It'd be great to be, to be a healthy person and to live a healthy life, and live a long time. And then he stopped me and he was like, "Why do you want to live a long time?" And it was one of those things where I just thought, he's like, well, why not just do what you need to do now and then finish early? And isn't that a weird?
That's great, isn't it? Yeah.
It was interesting. I remember thinking about it, trying to come back, kind of say, no, I want to live a long time. And you just think,
actually, just get it done.
I don't want to be a 90-year-old man swearing at teenagers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not being able to go. I don't want to be that. I kind of want to enjoy what I've got now. I want to enjoy the things that I'm doing now. And I think that's where I got to with it. I kind of think, well, if I'm like more physically fit now, and we'll come on to mentally fit in a minute, but if I'm kind of physically fit now and physically healthy now, that means I can do more stuff now.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So that I'm not waiting until I retire or whatever.
There's a lot of that. Oh, I'll do that later. I'll wait until.
Yeah, because it's for me. I don't know about you. It's energy. It's kind of like I just think, can't be bothered to do that.
Yeah, but you've had. I think with physical, for me anyway, talking about the barriers and to motivation towards physical fitness, you've just kind of like. Eureka'd me on that because you've just basically said do it while you're doing other things.
Yeah,
because I'm such a busy. But I'm constantly, I'm doing that now. I'm doing that now. I'm busy, and I've created the character of being busy.
Yeah.
And actually, what I need to just do is just be busy and do stuff, but do other things while I'm doing it.
Yeah, for me, it was.
I do the training while I'm doing that.
The gym, the Netflix gym thing was good for me. We had when I back when I used to train, because it's interesting. It's part of my psyche. When I was in my 20s, I used to race cars a lot.
Yeah.
And racing cars is quite physical. It's quite hard work.
Yeah. I remember when we went go-karting.
Yeah.
And when we finished that, I know it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But I was a bit like, God, I'm aching. I'm tired now.
You do, and it's your brain as well, so it's kind of mental and physical.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they did in that gym was they had this bike, and it was hooked to a computer game. And
brilliant.
Imagine power-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
So you would be playing this game, and you would get certain things, like get certain tokens. And if you got certain tokens, like the faster you pedaled after that point, like the bigger your shields would get, or the bigger your gun would get.
What a great game! So proper gamification. Yeah,
it was phenomenal, and I loved it. But I did it like every day for probably a year.
Yeah.
But that was because there was something in it for me. I knew that if I went to the gym, I used to go every day. I went to the gym every day. I used to do body pump classes. I used to do like 3 or 4 body pump classes a week, and I would go and do like CV and do this bike thing. But I knew at the weekend I would benefit from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
I knew that I'd be physically more agile, mentally more agile, and I would be better. Now, I think it's the payback for me. I kind of think it doesn't matter if I go to the gym and I do all these things. Probably still going to be a bit overweight. Probably still going. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be. I'm still going to see the dark side of things. It's not like I'm going to like go to the gym 3 times and suddenly be this better person.
Yeah.
And so I struggle to see the benefit in it. So I kind of have to, like the watching Netflix stuff for me is kind of a thing where that's the benefit, right? That's the kind of the cherry, if you like. But yeah, I kind of always need to see that what's in it for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just like being, you'll be healthier. So it is. It's kind of not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of I need something. I need need something more than that. I need more than just being alive. What's in it for me? Am I going to get superpowers or something? Because I tell you what, if somebody said, if you go to the gym, you'd be able to jump over houses.
Yeah, you'd be well
I'd be in the gym every day.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Or they said, if you go and do mindfulness, you can fly.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be doing that every day. But actually, you go and do all this stuff, and you'll be exactly the same. And that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like I think you need that. And I'm always really envious of people that are successful at the gym.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? People that can do it and they've got that relentless drive. And I just think, how do you do that? How do you go and do the same thing every day? And the increases, the gains, if you like, are so small.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you keep? It's like if I was learning a language, or I was writing a code problem, or I was trying to solve something, and the steps forward were that minor.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. I'd be like, this is impossible. No one could possibly do it. I'm always really envious of people that do that. Should we talk about COVID and how that ruined civilization?
I think so. You were talking about mental fitness as well, and I had a thought just then, because I'm looking at the time and going, I wonder if that's our next episode.
Oh, mental health.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about it a tiny bit, and the reason I want to talk about it a tiny bit is because I was on the train to London this week, and I was reading the news.
Yeah,
and I kind of read the news quite often. But I was reading the news on the train down to London, and there was an article that was from somebody important. It might have been our fearless supreme leader, Rishi Sunak. If anyone least desires that name, do you know what I mean? It's like bonkers. And anyway, it might have been from him, might have been from somebody in the Treasury or whatever. But they were talking about the money that was spent on health,
right?
Within it's kind of social health, essentially.
Yeah.
But what was the really interesting thing is they showed the pre and post COVID.
Okay.
Numbers. So it wasn't like, I don't know. I got lost in the numbers, to be honest. I kind of read about a third through the article. Then they had a table of numbers, and I got lost in there and didn't read the rest of it. But the table showed how much spending there was on social and healthcare in 2018 and 19, and then it kind of showed it from 21, 22, 23.
Yes.
And one of the things that hit me was how much it had gone up. So doubling in size, huge increase in social care, and the amount of people that just never went back to work.
Really?
And the primary reason for that was mental health.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And it just kind of sent me down. I was kind of noodling on this over the day. Is that because there's two things I think that could be caused by. It could be caused by people just being lazy, not wanting to work, and realizing they get paid more benefits if they have a medical issue to say, hey, do you know what? I could sit at home and watch Netflix, and I'll say I've got mental health issues, and I get an extra $5 a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it could be real. It could be that COVID and all that stuff actually did cause mental issues, right?
Yeah.
And
or at least highlighted them and made it a part of conversation or whatever.
And it just kind of sent me noodling over the day about, well, how would you tell?
Yeah.
Genuinely, right? If I tell you, I'm suffering from severe anxiety and I can't work. But how do you? Prove it.
Yeah.
How do you? And it's a horrible thing to do, but it's like for physical ailments and stuff, you think, okay, that's kind of something.
You can see that.
Yeah, but for mental health, you kind of can't see it, and it's always been that stigma attached to it. We've never talked about it. My friend had a really catastrophic nervous breakdown at work. He was the first person I've ever seen do it, and he talked about it openly. He went away, came back 6 months or so later, and I remember sitting with him. We went down, had a cup of tea and stuff, and it was phenomenal to me. It was the first time I'd been in my late 20s. It's the first time I'd ever heard somebody openly discuss what that felt like, that failure of, and it was absolutely phenomenal, and absolutely opened my mind to it. I thought, this sounds horrific. It sounds absolutely horrible. But then I could claim that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could say, I've got terrible mental health issues. I'll just be over here watching Netflix.
Yeah.
And it just sent me down this kind of weird noodly state of, why are people choosing not to go to work? Why are people choosing to is this mental health thing a real thing or not? Is this just where we are as a society? Is this, why mental health issues now? What's caused it? What do we do about it?
Yeah.
It was absolutely. One of those rabbit holes that you dive down.
I think that there's an aspect of a recovery process that hasn't really been managed, if that makes sense. I think the narrative of coming out of COVID was go back to work then.
Well, yeah.
Go back to work now.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah. That's it. Right, that's done. That's done now. Now back to normal. And And I think that there's this kind of like hangover of there's some stuff that came out during that period that we haven't dealt with effectively.
The bit that I find really weird, I think the bit that really spiraled me on this is the table that I looked at had other European countries in it, and they're not in the same state. They're not having the same issues.
That is interesting.
And again, that's again sent me really thinking as well. Is this a UK problem?
Yeah.
Or is it just that this is not tolerable? Is this just not a thing that you can do in these other countries? Or is it just something that's not being talked about in these countries? Right. So people still have mental health issues. They're just being forced back to work.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You end up, this is kind of what this is what I spend my day doing, but software problems usually. But you're kind of coming up with all these different hypotheses, all these different things that might be true. And then you figure out ways to test them. So I kind of go, well, it might be this, might be that, might be that. And then I'll go off and start poking at bits of code to say, is it this, is it that? And so with this one, I tend to think in the same way. But, those hypotheses of, well, is this just people making stuff up? Is it a genuine real thing? If it is a genuine real thing, why is it just in the UK? Why is it not happening in other European countries in the same way? Or is it happening in those countries and they're just not aware of it?
Or that absolute wild west of it is a real thing that people have made up, that's the other side of it, isn't it? As well, in that one of the impacts and effects of poor mental health is that maybe you make stuff up and make yourself even poorlier, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But it's. I know people with depression. I know, obviously that you've got like the kind of the big hitters, the kind of dementia and the Parkinson's, and the kind of the obvious. Mental health issues, but it's really weird, isn't it? You and they're not rising though. They're not the things that are rising.
No.
It's this people, I guess, claiming
which is and going back to the point that I made is that it sounded quite flippant, but I'm talking about the narrative led and identity stuff. That's what I'm talking about in the stories we tell about ourselves. And as soon as you have a narrative about yourself, almost you're looking to fulfill that in some way. And I think that we can sometimes do that with a mental. One of the big ones was there's a meme I spotted the other day.
Yeah.
And it was that thing of like, I'm feeling really like down at the minute. I've got depression. I'm really anxious. I've got that. And it's like, have you been out for a walk? No.
Yeah.
Do you sleep enough? No. Do you self-medicate? Yes.
Who was it we had? Do you know, years ago, 2017 or 18, we did a circularity podcast in your mate Matt's shed.
Yes, yeah.
And there was a guy on there talking about the black dog.
Oh, yeah. That was Joe Evans, yeah.
Joe Evans.
Yeah.
He was fascinating, I thought, when he said that he said it was depression for him, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And he talked about that, it was this like permanent battle between doing the right. He said, I know the right things to do. He said, I know I should eat healthily. I know I should exercise, and I know I should do all the things that I need to do. And I know if I don't do them, this kind of depression's black dog's going to come back, right? But I don't do them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was just not always. I don't always do the right things. I think depression's a really insidious thing though, because I think there are so many people out there with depression who are still going to work, still doing all of their things, and they're the ones that just kill themselves, and everyone says, "Oh, well, they were so happy."
Yeah.
And I think, and for me, that's like, how sad is that somebody's like so traumatized, so stigmatized about their state of their mental health,
the perception of it.
Yeah, if they had broken a leg, you're not going to find them hiding in the back room going, no, leg's fine. Do you know what I mean? I'm fine. I'm going to work. I'm fine. That's how I've broken my leg.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch Netflix for a bit. And I just think there's definitely something broken here, and I don't know what we do with it. I think that kind of whole health and wellness thing, bringing mental health into that is just something that we've got to do. We've got to fix it somehow or other. Talking about it's got to help, but I just kind of feel there's a bit of science here missing that where you can diagnose this stuff a bit better, where where things like depression, it becomes possible to diagnose them without just asking somebody, what their favorite apple is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To be able to try and figure out what's happening in the brain to cause it to misbehave, so that it becomes something that you can, when somebody says, "Oh, do you know what? Oh, no, I'm not depressed. I just not enjoying my job very much at the minute," or "No, I'm not depressed. I'm just," do you know what I mean?
But I think you're answering the question there, in that actually, something I've sent to a friend this morning is, the past few days, I've not been really feeling the joy in things, and I've found things quite difficult. And I know that you and I have talked about these things together before, quite openly with each other.
Yeah.
And because of that, we kind of, we're not trying to fix each other.
No,
we're going through something together, and we're just recognizing that and going, "Oh, right, cool. Well, I'm here. If you're here, if you need anything, yeah, okay." And then you come back and you bounce back a bit, and something gets a bit better. And I think the answer to the question is together. The answer to the question is not is having that.
Do you know what? Actually, do you know that thing you sent me something ages ago, and it was about addiction?
Yeah.
And it was
the opposite of addiction is connection.
Yeah, the cure to addiction is connection.
Yeah.
And it's I can't help but thinking it's similar for many mental health issues.
Yes.
Not everything here, but I think it's like exercise, it's like walking, it's like eating healthily, and all of that stuff. Right? It's not going to fix everything, but it might fix a lot. It might fix some stuff, right? And I think that it's that connection, because it definitely helps knowing that someone cares, or somebody's noticed that you've been quiet, or somebody's noticed that you're not brilliant, or being able just to share that and just say, "You know what, I'm really struggling right now."
Yeah.
And know you're not going to get judged, and that somebody's probably just going to send you some really, really dark memes. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of kind of stuff. It's kind of it's having that, and I think maybe that is what COVID did. Maybe we lost some of that connection.
From a physical basis, but also I think we substituted connection with an unreality of online, and that has exacerbated everything. The sort of the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, we feel we know people on an intimate level through these platforms.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it,
but we're not, and then.
If you think about it, everyone bought bikes.
Yeah.
Everyone went cycling and running in COVID.
Yeah.
In lockdown.
Yeah.
Everybody. I had to work. It was the hardest probably 18 months of my professional career.
Yeah.
It was brutal. The bit of code that I work on, the bits of products that I work on, allow people to work from home.
Yeah.
And so it just went mad, absolutely mad. We were just slammed, properly slammed as well, like probably starting at 6, 7 a.m. And it wouldn't, because everybody else was at home.
Yeah.
It was still rotating. You were still doing stuff at like 10, 11 at night, and it would be like just flat out all the time. And then you would look out your window and everyone would go and cycling. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think everyone was doing that physical stuff during lockdown, but the mental stuff wasn't working the way it should do. And those connections, I think actually, man, I think that might be the thing for mental health. It is, we've just not, that unrealistic expectations of social media, even our friends, when you see, because if you've got the wrong friends, you just see them, posting crap online about, all the crap that they've done and showing off and stuff. And you think, oh, my life needs to.
Yeah, the comparison thing.
My life needs to live up to that. And I don't know. It is. How do you force people to make real friends? We need a tablet for that.
Yeah.
That is totally what we need. We need a tablet for that in your vitamins. We should talk about vitamins as well at some point.
Yeah. The hole that I fell down this week was, and I think we're heading up to the closure of this one, but it was about all the things that we've tried medically that we believed in history.
Yeah,
there was like the way to solve,
like leeches,
that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I'd like to talk about that one week. That'd be nice.
Really good fun. One of my favorite things about like medicine and health and stuff is. And we talk about this when we do I do a critical thinking course at work, and when I talk about this when we teach it. And during a certain phase of history, doctors delivered babies.
Yes.
And if the doctors were busy, then the nurses would deliver babies, right? Yeah. But doctors would be where the doctors would deliver most of the babies. And so it was kind of there was a lot of data. They kind of understood how many babies died and how many people died because it was essentially an operation, and what would happen is you would give birth to your baby, and then you would die of like septic shock or an infection. And when they looked at the data, they realised that when the nurses delivered the babies,
they washed their hands.
Yeah, there wasn't such a thing, and it was because they were washing their hands.
Yeah.
And when that data was presented to the doctors at the first time, they just ignored it. And I just think that there's that dissonance sometimes where, when faced with something that you don't agree with.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I just switch my watch off. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't want to hear about that. I'm a doctor. I've had 10 years of training.
Yeah.
Why? This can't possibly be true. So you ignore it. But I do love it. It's one of the pieces of history where I love it, because eventually, science did its thing. The science is really good at changing its mind, but people are really bad at it. So, I kind of, and I think we do understand, we do understand health better, right? We understand human bodies better. We understand, there's more data to show what works well. That study that I did, Our Future Health.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested in that, if you Google Our Future Health, if you're in the UK, you'll find it, and you can sign up to it, and you go and get blood tests and a bunch of other stuff, and they check in on you every year, and they kind of map your progress and your health progress. It kind of attaches to your NHS record and stuff. And the idea is that over time, they start to pick out what things actually matter. Because one of the things that I read after I did my last one, they said that cholesterol's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And the dude said to me, your cholesterol's 3. He said, I've never seen, he said, in the whole history of doing this, I've been doing it for 6-7 years, I've never seen anybody with a cholesterol level of 3 before. He said, I've heard about it, they tell you about it, but I've never seen anyone with a cholesterol level of 3.
Yeah.
So then I went off and read about it. Why does cholesterol matter? Does it matter? Blah, blah, blah. Based on studies from the 50s, and there's very little evidence that shows that high cholesterol it's supposed to lead to heart disease.
Right.
But actually, when you analyze the data accurately, it's tenuous at best.
Wow.
But we still cling to it, stick to it. So I think, from a health perspective, I don't know. I think you just do, it's the obvious stuff, isn't it? Standing up, walking about, drink your water, have a Granny Smith apple, definitely not a jazz apple.
And talk to each other.
Talk to each other for your mental health. Listen to heavy metal. Watch Netflix in the gym. What else? What other advice have we got?
That's a good. I think that's a good one.
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah,
I think
that's
where we're at. So to recap, I've forgotten most of it. It's like stand up, talk to each other.
Yeah.
Drink some water.
Yeah. Granny Smith.
Or a jazz apple. What else? Oh, carrots. Carrots are good, apparently.
Carrots are good.
Yeah.
Kellogg's.
And to be fair, if you're feeling miserable, go and have a cake. I'm not sure that's... And then send a picture of it to your friend.
Yeah.
Listen to Napalm. Napalm Death makes me really happy.
Yeah.
I love listening to Napalm Death.
Yeah.
Send really dark memes to your friends. Or the other thing is, if you've not heard from your friend for a bit, or you think somebody, again, this is something that came up this week, was when you think your friends are quiet and you take it personally.
Yes.
So you think, it's me, they're dissing me, and actually they're probably going through something. Right. So, and you touched this last week with those people that are happy all the time.
Yeah.
The friends that you've got that are really happy all the time, they're not. They are absolutely, definitely at home crying over something. So check in on them.
Yeah.
Send them a really dark meme.
Yes.
Inappropriate. Something that will get you cancelled. I still can't believe we've not been cancelled. How would we know if we've been cancelled?
Yeah, that's it. We just wouldn't, would we?
If we've been cancelled and
yeah, could you tell us?
Could you write in and tell us? And in fact, we don't care. Don't tell us. But I hope that's been really useful.
Yes.
Apples, cake, end of the world.
Yep.
Dark memes, napalm death.
Yep.
Swimming.
Yep.
Netflix on the bike.
Yep.
I don't know, probably have a vitamin tablet.
Yeah.
Is there a vitamin's good or bad now?
I don't know, it depends.
I don't yeah.
Depends what you read, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Just do it. Just do what you want.
Just do what you want.
Yeah. There you go. That's the advice from Hopeland. See you next week.
It's all right.
Thank you for listening to Hopeland. If you enjoyed the show, you can A. Subscribe on your favorite podcast service. B. Leave a nice review. C. Tell a friend or two. Turning off microphones. Presenters back in cold storage, where they belong.